guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, my name is LJ and you're watching NoClutch Garage. And today I'm actually going to be talking to you about a new mod that I'm putting on my Honda Accord. As you guys know, I bought this daily a few weeks ago and I've really been enjoying it. It's actually a really good daily. It's very smooth and it's very nice. It's got a lot of technology, a lot more than I thought it would have. It actually has a little bit more technology than my BMW does, but I'm okay with that because I like my BMW more for driving and not for, you know, daily driving. So it's good in that aspect. But anyway, we're gonna be talking about the Mishimoto catch can for the 10th gen Accord, the 1.5 liter. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and open it up and I'm gonna show it to you and I'm gonna show you how to install it on your Accord. And before I get started, I do want to say a huge shout out to the Accord Facebook group because they've been really helpful with any questions that I've had. And shout out to Ghassan Industries. I hope I'm saying that right. They were pretty quick in sending me this stuff. I don't know if that's how they always do stuff, but you know, thank you. It was here within a few days after I ordered it. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started. I have a mess right now because I'm moving stuff around, but here we have the box, pretty standard box. This is from Mishimoto. We open it up and we have some lines. We have the brace that's going to be holding the catch can, and I'll open it in a second. We have some paperwork, and it looks like an air freshener. Let's see what else. Some fittings. And I think, yeah, this is the catch can. It's in here. So let me go ahead and open everything and show you exactly what everything looks like. All right, guys, let's go ahead and open this catch can. And this looks really well packaged. I actually really enjoy this. Packaging is really good. And here's the can itself. Wow, this is really tight. Oh, it looks like it's got a little scratch already. It's fine. All right, so that's what that looks like. It's baffled. So it looks like a pretty good design. Yep. Pretty standard stuff, nothing crazy. Right here we have our fittings. Let's go ahead and take those out. They're also packaged very nicely. You see the O-ring, and then obviously you put those in here. Now I would use some assembly lube or some kind of oil just to put around here. So I think when we get to installing it, before I install it, I'm gonna go ahead and just rub a little bit of oil right here just to keep that from cracking. Here's the other one. And they're both exactly the same, so it's not gonna matter where you put one or the other. But I'm gonna go ahead and kind of put them right here. Not installed all the way, but just on there. Cool. All right, next thing is the brace. And I'm actually new to Mishimoto. I've never used this brand, but so far I'm pretty impressed. So it looks like this will go on like that somehow. We'll figure that out. And then lastly, we have this bag that has the hoses. So here we have the lines. Pretty straightforward stuff. And the last thing on there are these little tiny clamps that will go right here on the ends. And I will also show you how to place those properly. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's a pretty simple kit and not very different from any other kit you would usually get from any other company. We're gonna go ahead and take this stuff outside and we're gonna go ahead and install it. All right, guys, now you have the hood popped. There are actually two little places where you can put this little rod. I put it on this one just because it opens it up a little bit more, and since we're gonna be working right here in the back, it allows me to work a little bit better back there, so I went ahead and did that. So let's go ahead and get this thing mounted. All right guys, and for this job we're gonna need a few tools. We're gonna need a 3-inch Allen wrench, we're gonna need a 10mm socket, and we're gonna be using a 1/4-inch ratchet. We're also going to be using a 17mm long socket on a 3/8 ratchet, but you could also use a 17mm wrench if you have it. And lastly, we're going to use some pliers, and you'll see why we need this, but this is essentially what we need. And now we can get to working on the catch can. All right guys, and before I get started, I actually want to touch up a little bit on what a catch can does exactly, because I started unpacking and showing you the catch can, but I didn't actually talk about the benefits of having a catch can. Now, this is not my first time having a catch can on this channel. I actually had one for my BMW 340i that I showed on this very channel, and the video for that is here. But essentially what a catch can is going to do is it's going to be kind of like a supplement mod to the PCV system in your engine. And basically what the PCV is going to do is it's going to take that excess oil or excess contaminants, and it's going to recirculate them into the intake manifold and back into the engine. And this can be bad, especially on direct injected engines just like this one and just like the one in my BMW, because over time those pollutants and that excess oil can build up in the intake manifold, and especially in the runners, and it can gunk up the valves, the intake valves, and just cause all kinds of issues. And this was really bad for especially the 335s, BMW 335i's, for a while, and it was just terrible. But this happens to any direct injected car. This Honda is no exception, except for the fact that this is a very small engine. Most drivers aren't going to be driving the crap out of these, at least aggressively. Most people are going to be daily driving this, but because it will be a daily driver for most people, it will be used a lot, and thus it can cause that issue regardless of how you drive the car. It's just going to happen over time. Now what the catch can is going to do is it's actually going to take the same route the PCV would into the intake, but it's going to be between the PCV and the intake. So any pollutant that gets out, any oil, excess oil or anything like that, it's going to go into the catch can instead of going back into the intake manifold. So as a result of this, what's going to happen is you're going to have less contaminants and less oil making it into your intake manifold, making it into your runners, making it to your intake valves, and thus you're going to prevent that necessary maintenance later on down the road. Maybe not prevent it completely, but you're definitely not going to need it as often or as soon as you would if you didn't have a catch can on here. So I consider a catch can a necessary maintenance item for anybody that wants to keep their engine running at peak performance for a very long time. Although most people don't see it this way, this is something that I've done on my BMW, and something that I'm doing on this car, and something that I plan on doing on pretty much any car that I get in the future. And even though this car will be taken care of regardless, I want to not have to do that maintenance on this car at anytime soon. So why not do it? Plus, it's a fairly inexpensive mod. Most catch cans, you can find them anywhere from $100 to $200 for any kind of model. So I don't think it's a bad investment. It's actually a really good investment for the longevity of your engine. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and get this installed. I won't be able to show you any results right away because the catch can will get filled up over time, if it gets filled up at all. I heard these little 1.5 liter cars don't really have that issue, and this issue is most commonly seen on the 2.0 T's that are a little bit more powerful than these. But we're gonna see. Okay, I'll give you an update in a few months, and we'll see how it works out. All right guys, so now let's get to installing this thing. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take these two out, and these are both 10mm. So we're gonna use our 10mm socket, and we're gonna go ahead and remove this. So I was gonna remove this plate right here. We're just gonna stick it right there. All right, next thing we want to do is we want to remove these two bolts right there, those two right there. And again, you're gonna use a 10mm. socket, and same process. All right, now this plate can come forward, and what we're gonna do now is we are going to grab this right here, and basically we're gonna line it up to these two holes right there. We're gonna put that in there. Put this one on this side, just like that, and we're gonna tighten. Don't go crazy with the torque here, just hand tight. Now this little brace is on there, and let's move on to the next part. All right, one thing I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna go ahead and put this back. So we're gonna go ahead and grab these little 10mm screws, put them back in. All right, that's nice and tight. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to prepare the lines. And if you look closely, you have two sizes. You have these ones right here, and then you have these thinner ones. The thinner ones are going to go on the motor side, and the thick ones are going to go on the catch can side. For example, this line is going to be going like this. So we're going to put this one on this side. And this is where we need our pliers because it's actually pretty hard. And then we're going to put the thin one on this side. So the skinny one right here. Just like that. So this one's ready. And then we're going to go and do the same thing on this side. Catch can side is going to be like that, and then motor side. Just like that. So our lines are ready. So the next thing I'm going to prepare is going to be the catch can, and basically to do that, let's go ahead and remove these screws. Alright, and before we put all of this together, I'm gonna go ahead and lube this. You can use O-ring lube, which is a specific lube to lubricate these O-rings. You can also use just motor oil, which is what I'm gonna do. Just make sure the O-rings are lubed pretty well. So I've got a little bit of motor oil right here. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna dip my fingertip and just lube around it. Basically we want this so so the friction doesn't hurt the seal, the O-ring, so we definitely don't want that. And of course the last thing we want to lube is going to be this guy right here. Guys, please make sure you do this. This is really important. And to make my life easier right now, since it's the first installation, I'm going to go ahead and close this up. And then we're going to take our fittings and put them in. And then we're going to take that 17 mil that we mentioned earlier and just tighten them. You don't have to over tighten, just make sure they're on there good. The O-ring will take care of the seal. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in place. So I'm going to take some of my screws, or one of my screws, and go ahead and place it on here. And we're going to go ahead and fit this little guy right here. Now we're going to take our Allen and tighten it in. Alright, and make sure you don't over tighten the screws. Now the last thing I'm going to do, and I mean you can do this in different order or however you want, but this is just the way I'm doing it. I'm going to go ahead and take this. This is the line that we're looking for. This one right here. It's right behind, it's right on the intake manifold, which is this right here. And it's this line sticking right up. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect it. So we're gonna grab this little clip or clamp, and this should pull right out. You might have a little bit of an issue with it. There we go, pulled out. And over here we have the other one. Just pull the clamp out first, and then pull it out. It's so small. We're gonna look, if you look on the catch can, you have two sides. You have one side that says in, which is this one, and one side that says out. If you think about it logically from the motor, the contaminants and everything else is going to come out of the motor and then into the intake manifold, right? So basically we're going to do that, but putting this in the middle, so it's going to come out of the motor and into the catch can. So to do that, we're going to take this line right here, and I'm going to go ahead and connect this side first. So we're going to go ahead and make sure it's all the way in, and then we're going to grab this and put it in there. It's on there pretty good. All right, so then we're going to take this end part and we're going to do the same thing and put it on the catch can all the way in. And we grab this clamp and clamp it on there, and there we go. That's the inside. Now the out is going to go into the intake manifold like we said before. So we're going to go ahead and take this line, go ahead and stick that in the intake manifold, and we're going to route this back here like that. And I think that's on there. Yep, that's on there good. And then we're gonna stick this side over here. And then, boom, there you have it. Now the catch can has been fully installed. Alright guys, there's the catch can. And if you didn't know any better, you wouldn't even notice it. Anyway guys, this has been the installation of the Mishimoto catch can for the 10th gen Accord 1.5T. It's a pretty simple process. It shouldn't take you honestly more than like 20 minutes. Even for an amateur, it shouldn't take you more than 30 minutes. It's really not that difficult. I picked the black one. There's also a red option. I picked the black one because I like my engine bay to look stock-ish. And to be honest, this is my daily car. I don't plan on doing anything crazy with it as far as performance. This is pretty much as much action as the engine bay is going to get. But I did want it to look stock. Just, you know, there's not really any reason for flashiness on this engine bay, at least for me personally. You can choose to get the red brace for the can if you want. I'll leave a link for the catch can in the description down below, so you guys can go check it out. If you want to buy it, you can get it. It's relatively cheap. I think it's $185. It wasn't too bad, and I think it's definitely something worth getting. It's definitely an investment worth getting. We'll see how this motor holds up. This is my first time really dealing with Hondas, and especially a newer Honda. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyways guys, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for sticking around and watching this installation. If you like what you saw, go ahead and click like, go ahead and subscribe, click that bell button so that you can get all the notifications for all the videos that I post. But this is everything for today. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again next video. Peace.